postpone it for tomorrow's show. But let's go ahead and get into it. Justin Jones getting reinstated.
Vice Mayor, I would like to nominate Representative Justin Jones.
Tonight, a political showdown in Nashville.
Ayes 36, no zeros.
With former Tennessee lawmaker Justin Jones back to the State House just days after his expulsion. The Metro Nashville Council voted unanimously in favor of his reappointment.
This is a message that partisanship has gone so far as to be a force in violating basic principles of democracy.
This special meeting comes after a rare move by House Republicans to remove 3 Democratic lawmakers after they joined a gun control rally on the House floor, which Republicans say violated the rules.
You can call it peaceful, you can call it whatever, but they had a protest against House policy on the floor.
No action! No peace!
Among the Tennessee 3, only one survived the vote, Gloria Johnson.
It might have to do with the color of our skin.
GOP leaders say their decision was not based on race, but that Johnson didn't go as far as her 2 freshman colleagues.
No Justin, no peace!
Representative Justin Pearson will learn his fate Wednesday in his own district with a special meeting in Memphis. Meanwhile, the political battle doesn't end for Jones as he awaits a special election, and he's vowing to return. And moments after the critical vote to reappoint Justin Jones, hundreds of his supporters began rushing out of the Metro Council chambers and began marching straight toward the state capitol.
Okay, before we even get into the discussion, let's just go ahead and jump into Justin Pearson. Somebody help me out with that last name because I want to say Pearson.
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 Okay, Justin Pearson's reinstatement.
This happened just a few minutes ago. Tennessee Democrat Justin Pearson sworn back in as a state representative after the Shelby County Board of Commissioners voted unanimously to reinstate him yesterday. And speaking in front of the crowd moments ago, Pearson called attention back to gun violence and criticized the Republican Speaker of the Tennessee House. Take a listen.
God needed to wake us up to the reality of this moment that we've got a new generation and new ideas and new beliefs in order to guide us into the future. And so what Cameron Sexton meant for bad, God has turned into good.
Let's get right out to NBC's Kathy Park in Nashville for us. Kathy, Pearson and Justin Jones are back in the State House. They walked in together. It sounds like they want to get right back to work, especially regarding gun control.
Hey, Anna, good morning to you and welcome to the team. First off, that's right. These 2 men, exactly 1 week ago, they were expelled from the Tennessee State Legislature. And as you mentioned just a few moments ago, we witnessed a swearing in of Justin J. Pearson. He was introduced by both his mother and father, and the swearing in, it took just a matter of minutes. And as you mentioned, he has walked in to the state capitol building, and he's standing by to walk into the House floor. But yesterday, it was quite an eventful day in Memphis. The Shelby County Board of Commissioners voted unanimously to reappoint Pearson, and we saw hundreds of supporters gathered there. Many of them traveled with him this morning. We understand they have entered the Capitol building as well. And we know that the House Speaker, Cameron Sexton, will likely honor this reappointment, similar to what we saw on Monday. I was here in Nashville Monday when we saw a similar scene play out for his colleague, Justin Jones. The Nashville Metro Council also unanimously reappointed him. So now the Tennessee 3 back at work today. Obviously, gun control will be a top priority as they move forward. But Anna, the state of Tennessee, a spotlight has definitely been on these lawmakers to do more, especially in the wake of that mass shooting a couple of weeks ago here in Nashville at the Covenant School, where 6 people were killed, 3 of them children. And just this week, Republican Governor Bill Lee actually strengthened background checks for gun purchases. So we are seeing some movement there. We'll be watching closely to see the reaction that we see with House Republicans when Justin Pearson officially enters the House floor momentarily.
So before I even get to the last 2, I just want to get everybody else's thought before I give you my thought on my introduction into the show. So whichever one wanted to speak first.
Tracy.
This should have never happened. What are we talking about?
the KKK leading state houses, not in just Tennessee, but all across the country, for them to say, oh, it's not about race. If you believe that, I have the moon, Saturn, Neptune, and Uranus all for sale for $4. Give me a freaking break. Are you serious? It wasn't about race. Of course it was about race. And I love the story of the recording of one of the Tennessee legislators like, oh, now people think I'm racist. No, we know you're racist. That's all I have.
This.
So I'm gonna try not to sound like the Debbie Downer guy. So there's, for me, I'm proud of these two young men for standing up for something that's super important, right? I mean, we're talking about children who can't feel safe at school, parents who can't feel safe sending their kids to school, and they are on the right side of the issue. So I'm proud of them for that. I'm proud of the way that I guess they presented themselves overall. But where I get annoyed is that I look at the reactions of our community to this event, and I am disappointed because the media took it, packaged it, and said, Tennessee 3, that's a nice slogan. That's a good term. Let's market that. And the focus has been so squarely on the three heroes, or even the two heroes, depending upon who you're talking to. They either include the lady or they exclude the lady, but it's focused on them. And that is frustrating for me because they're not, the heroes aren't the ones causing the damage. They're not the ones obstructing things. The focus should always be on the villains. Put their names out there. Do the exposés on all of them. Make them ashamed personally for things that they're doing, or at least shine the light as bright and make it as loud as you do for the heroes. Because my problem with when you focus on the heroes and something that's this big, that, like Tracy said, is a national thing, and it's been going on in earnest over the last, a year after Obama was elected. But it's really sped up now, right? Because they've done the work to get themselves in position to have more influence. But not enough energy, not enough focus is being put on the quote unquote bad guys. And that is so frustrating. It's like we're always looking to be entertained. Even in our struggle, we want to be entertained. And the media is willing to package it and give it to you. Oh, and then the Martin Luther King speech, like the cadence, it's so played out. It irks my nerves every time I hear it. Irks my nerves every single time.
I got to the point. That's just how the dude talk.
But unfortunately, this might not happen. This happened far too many times in the past. He rose to the occasion. He's speaking like a backwoods black pastor minister. And then he becomes somewhat of a star. And then a year from now, something dirty falls out of his closet. And the whole community turns against him. And he becomes the pariah. And he becomes the new whipping boy for the media and for the white community, because they were waiting for that moment. And because you used your moment to sound like Martin Luther King, to sound like something else, it ends up splashing back even bigger on the community, because you exhort, whatever the word is, you lifted yourself up. So hopefully that doesn't happen to this young man, but we've seen it far too many times. So let's see how it plays out.
Okay. I was hoping the same thing. I'm proud of these two guys for not laying down and just taking it. I'm also proud. Okay. I do have one little small issue, and I'm probably going to get a whole bunch of pushback on it from outside world. I would like to say that I am proud of these guys for fighting back and getting their position back. But at the same time, did they already know this avenue was in play in a way? So can we really say they fought back? I mean, you know what was if you get kicked out of the state senate, you know the avenues to get back to the state senate. You know how your commission in your city was going to vote. So I don't know. I don't want to downplay
That part.
I don't want to downplay.
Yeah,
So
that part I don't know. I mean, like, we don't know, right? We don't know.
yeah.
But that part I don't know if they would have gamed it out that way, because that's 3 levels, like that's 3-dimensional chess at that point. And I'm saying, like, before they stood up for the gun rights thing, right? They knew they were going to get in trouble. They knew they might get censored, or something like that. But the Republicans went full on uppity Negro. Let's put you back in your place.
Yeah.
Expulsion, right? So I don't know that they would have planned it out that far. But then when it happened, that the right people who were around them knew, well, this is what happens next. Right. And then, like I said, they rose to the occasion. So like you said, I'm proud of them, but I'm not so foolish as to think that these are just babes in the woods that stumbled into something, right? There's more going on. But that's why I keep saying we got to look at the bad guys. Clap for the good guy, right? Because we need to encourage more people to be willing to step up front and take those slings and arrows, right? We we need those kinds of people. So clap for them, protect them. But boy, you gotta really focus on the villains, because the villains are just
I
they
mean,
just having a
nobody
field day
cared
right now.
about the villains, though. We know at least one Tennessee representative urinated on somebody's chair. Why not call that guy's name? Why doesn't the media? And I get what you're saying. The media, nothing. You're gonna just be silent. You're not gonna talk about that. That's what I would be talking about. I'm like, hey, they they kicked out these 2 young men, but they let somebody that urinated on a chair stay. Somebody who was not only accused of domestic violence, but convicted. Convicted of that means he was guilty.
Somebody right
it.
now is going through a federal investigation.
Yeah,
Currently.
you're gonna ignore all that to focus on this. Yes, you should talk about it because it's important, but come on.
I mean, you can't
Yeah,
even
but
sit there and
you
say that's
nailed it.
old
You
news.
nailed it, Tracy.
You can't even say
No, you nailed it, Tracy.
I'm sorry. You can't even, I'm sorry. I just want to say this. You can't even say, oh, that's old news. Somebody right now in your state Senate, Tennessee, is being investigated, federally investigated currently. So you can't even say old news and that's let bygones be bygones or whatever crap that you like to do to take the the spotlight off of you. If something currently is happening, that's not old. I mean, your knowledge of it happening is old, but if it's currently continuously right now still happening, no, that's not old. You can't use that.
And that's the role that media should play.
But
what media's role does play is they're all like TMZ. They're all looking at it's purely from a marketing standpoint. What will attract the most eyes? What will not offend too many people? And what can we make run for? We need a press cycle that'll run at least 3 to 4 days. If it's not going to last 3 to 4 days, then we got to decide what type of attention do we really want to give it. And we want to make sure that we're not upsetting too many people who do watch our channel, because then they'll go to one of the other two channels. And that's what media does. And it's disgusting, because you're not really informing people. You're just letting people know about some stuff, right? You're not, it's Tennessee 3, and it's like, it sounds like a Marvel movie, or it sounds like a fresh out of the civil rights movement. Let's just kind of, like we had the Big Six back then, and Tennessee 3, or
Yeah, we always have to put some type of
9,
slogan.
6,
right,
3,
but
3,
right.
Yeah.
You had what was it? The ones in New
Million
York
Man
had a
March.
number. So everything is packaged for consumption for a society that is obsessed with being entertained.
But that plays
And
into the. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
no, you're right. No, you're fine.
It
I'm just
plays
saying,
into
like,
the
but that's
American
the issue.
psyche, because our attention span is what?
The version
A
of
microwave.
TikTok. The version of TikTok. That's what
Yeah,
I'm saying.
it's like we don't
It
have.
is, but it is that way because we choose not to make it a different way, or they choose not to make it a different way, right? Everything is being shrunk down, but there's a part of it that's driven by that's what we want, and then there's another part that's driven by that's what we think we should want, right? The same people that can watch anime for 4 hours are the same people who will spend those same 4 hours watching 30-second clips on TikTok. It's all about what they want to pay attention to, and what are you actually giving them. Right now, we're in the midst of one of the most politically active young segments of society since the 60s, well, maybe since the 90s. So these young people are fully capable of longer things. They just need you to tell them the truth. They're tired of being lied to. So the moment they realize that you're playing a game with them, they tune out. So it's not that they don't have the attention span. They don't have the patience for the BS, right? So they could very easily sit here and say, in Texas, these laws just passed and it does these things. And then at the same time, New York has these. And at the same time, this passed in Tennessee. And at the same time, and then the things that we do, the things you find on YouTube all the time, the media is better positioned to do those things than any of us. But it's not financially beneficial because they rather just run with what's already working. And it's disappointing that we as a larger group, we don't want to know more.
What's
Hey,
up,
Parker?
Says I'm a little behind on the stream, but yeah, it would take up the whole hour news broadcast to call out every single one of the other Republicans in the Tennessee. It would. Every person that we just sat there and said. And yeah, just like Mickey's that statement, another Tennessee representative admitted child molestation. That's an hour. Why the dude peeing in a chair? That's an hour. The dude is on a federal investigation. That's an hour.
And I'm saying commit the hour.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Put the whole hour on there. You want to act a fool and pee on somebody's chair, put them on blast. Be like, this man right here urinating on somebody's chair. Oh, and another one was convicted. Convicted. Not just accused, convicted.